Hi, Wise Exotics here. If I cough, sorry, I've got a bit of a dry throat this morning. So this is the October end update so far of how the plants are doing. The This one's doing really well, coming in nice striping, about a little bigger than my thumb. Let's see. So these are the plants. I have had no plant fatality. You can see the little seedlings are doing well over there. I'm doing an air out. Right now the fogger slash humidifier is going. The cephalotus. So one thing I found is my cephalotus actually divided. There are two cephalotus here. There's one on this side, not in the middle. Nothing in the middle there. It's actually two different plants now, so that was kind of a neat little surprise I didn't expect. I also had a leaf pop off, so I stuck that here a few weeks ago and it's still there. So I'm actually going to water that this morning. Okay, so we'll start from the right side. I've had some inquiries about Hamadas. Hamadas can be male and female, just like any Nepenthes. Knowing which is a female or a male is dependent on how long they've been out in circulation. So, as an example, this is a Hamada that is an AW4, which is confirmed to be male. As you can see, he's already got a leaf split going and a new little leaf. My first picture from it being here, it's doing very well. It's a little bigger than the original two. So good job on that. The male, this one has had no problems growing with me. I got this one from Flora Direct off of a bid. I had an AW2, which is the other confirmed female of the AWs that I'm aware of. That one, checking online, is, unless you get a very established one, it has a lot of problems with root rot, stem rot, and just pure sensitivity. It's very sensitive. Similar to a lot of diabolica. Speaking of diabolica, this is diabolica number 4, which is a confirmed female. As you can see, she's doing fine. I've got 2 leaf splits so far from her. And I've got a third little one that's a growth tip coming out. So, doing really well. This is my Naga. It's a seed grown as well. As you can see, the pitcher, it had a significant pitcher jump on its last leaf, and now it's got a new leaf and a new growth tip, so I'm hoping to see that grow well. Now, this is another Hamada. This is a BE clone. I don't know if it's a male or a female, but this is the 3975. I paid $90 for it, which I thought was a great deal when that was being done. I believe it's still for sale if anybody would like one of those. Grown fine. I know it's actually got its first new picture here too, which is a significant jump compared to its others. So nice and toothy. Good job, little BE. Next to it here we have the Robocantley, which is a seed grown. These are endangered slash kind of no longer in the wild. It's had its first growth tip, as you can see. I kind of find it interesting because the leaves are truncated similar to a truncata, but not. They're slightly different. But it's got a growth tip, got a new pitcher coming in, so I'm very happy it's growing safe. There were a bunch of those for sale at the time from the same seller. This was sold to me from Talar. Same person who sold me the Clypeata and his Spectabilis exventricosus. There were a bunch of them. They were bigger and more developed. This one is probably the smallest he had for sale, but I really liked the coloring, where the others were more of a darker color. This one was more red, so I kind of like that. Moving down, as I said, Diabolica, which is my favorite of my Nepenthes. Next is my Macrophylla, my other favorite. I'm really happy I have these two, just to state for my collective purposes. Plus, I get to enjoy watching them grow. My Macrophylla had a huge leaf jump initially when I first got it during the summer. It haven't confirmed. As you can see, I've got one picture that's active. I have a second one that is active, but that, as I said in a prior video, I popped it off by accident just when I was messing with these, because these are fast-growing moss types. They get really tall and long. As you can see, I've stuck them in other things, and they don't grow as fast as with the Macrophylla, so I don't know why they do it. Next here is an Edwardsiana Raja Edwardsiana, yes. This is from tissue culture. I actually did learn some interesting things with tissue culture the other day. It seems to like it a little more dry than the others, so I keep it in the rocky. But it has consistent leaf growth, and it pitchers pretty nicely. The pitchers are bright red with toothiness, and a little bit of teethy, but they got like a bell cap almost. So they seem to be delicate. This is a Petiolata extalogenesis. It has never, ever given me a pitcher. It always has pitcher tips. Never pitchers, so I don't know if it's just slow to grow. I had a main plant that grew out, almost like a palm tree, and then it got barbecued somehow. I'm not sure why. But the 3 little growths did fine. Those are my Vivid Machines, which are my 2 of my original seedlings I've been growing for a while. They're actually starting to get this nice, if I can get it to focus. It has red spotting coming on, and the leaves are actually getting a little red to them. One has redding, one doesn't, so it's kind of interesting. As we move down, those are some pepper seeds that my neighbor gave me. I just was growing them to see if they grow. Some cats threw the pepper back here, so I just said, asked if it was okay. He said fine. I notice a few of these get a little drier than they should, even with that. But one of the things I'll do is I'll put my finger in here to check. If it's a little damp, then I really won't add water because I don't want to waterlog them. Some of you may be wondering. So this is the other Hamada I have had for a while now, about 6 months, I believe. This is my AW1 Hamada. At least a few months. I've had it for a while. It did have an initial root rotting that I took care of with Safe, which is a brand. I put it in this bottle because the spray bottle it came with sucks. It's sulfur based and it doesn't affect or hurt the Nepenthes. It's good for fungicide and mold. So I sprayed the thing very lightly, and I also watered it down a bit and put it in new potting, new pot soil, just to keep it damp. But I'm checking it daily. So one of the things you do when you're checking for rot is you look under the stem if there's pure black shooting through it. That kind of, like my W2 had, there's nothing you can do. When you're doing cuttings and such, it's either a strike or not. If it strikes and does well, that's great. If it doesn't put out roots after a few months, even after it's still alive in the dirt, that either means the dirt's very rich in vitamins and whatnot, but it's not developing them properly. You might want to try to use a rooting hormone. At least that's what I've had to do on a few to save them. As I've gotten cuttings from a few people that weren't the best, but some I've got really great. One of my cuttings that I did earlier, if I could get the giant leaf, is this one. This is a Bellii ventricosa lowii. Bellii cross lowii cross ventricosa. This one is also a confirmed male. I got this off of a seller on eBay. It was a stick. It's growing perfectly fine. Here's one of its pictures, isn't there? And they're right. That's its picture right there. They're very nice, little striping. Let's see. This is a Glandiflora cross Ima. Ima tend to be a little more yellow than I'm used to. I'm not sure why this one was drying out, so I might turn it that way, see if that helps. I've been noticing this tray dries out in the corners lately, so I'm not sure if I'm running out of water. It's just this is bending the actual structure. I'm unsure. So moving around, as you can see, the plants are doing fine. I've got a new Glandiflora cross Burgundy in the back there. New pitcher. Dactyphilia's got a brand new pitcher that opened. Doing really fine. Some of these have such a long name. Telegenesis Glandiflora VCI. Doing fine. Northiana, as you can see, has its first new pitcher with me. Seems to be a very slow growing species, but it's had at least 3 growth tips with me, and it's doing fine. My VCIs, as you can see, this one is enormous. To let you know, this is my first VCI I have ever grown, and it's, big leaves, fuzzy. The leaves are about the same, but the pictures, very big comparison. In fact, even my Batu Buli VCI here has bigger pictures than this one. Which I don't mind. It's just interesting. VCI are very have a very huge variety to them, so it's kind of interesting to compare. This one has, it looks like it almost got burnt a lot when I initially got it. This is its first new picture with me, or leaf, I should say. This is the newest picture. It's significantly larger. Let's see. This is Robocantlia Avada, has a new picture right there. Plants are just doing fine. This one is crazily long. So these two, it says are tissue culture, but sold as a seed grown. It says tissue culture though. So this is a crazily, that way. This one and this one were both covered in huge moss, and there was only this one visible. This one was probably a really tiny one that somehow got in there and they thought was dead, but yeah, it was still alive. So I got 2 plants for the price of 1. Can't really complain. The color, it's leaning a lot, but they were in a moss that was this tall, so I had to cut the moss down to get to the plant, and they're doing fine. My Peltata from BE is doing great. Looks like I might actually have a picture to come in on this leaf. My Raja Burgundy cross Edwardsiana. This is actually seed grown, as I've stated before. I really like how it's taking more after the Edwardsiana side, which is neat. I didn't expect that, so my Burgundy cross Raja, that leaf is getting barbecued, and that is probably because that is the last leaf it had. But that one, I don't know, I might trim that off after this videoing. It's got a new picture hiding under there. My Mira, which is doing fine, I believe that's a seed grown. No, that's tissue culture. The seed grown I had was the Mira Raja, which now I don't know where it is. Everybody's gone through some growth here, so it's kind of hard to figure out where everybody is. My Diodas are doing fine, as you can see. So Diodas grow really well. They're kind of like a red Hamada with yellow lips on their parasome. Very interesting, toothy. Interesting thing here, though, speaking of Hamada, this is my Hamada cross Aristo. Yesterday I was cleaning out this moss area, trying to, just get in there and check if it was dry, and I felt another plant. I was like, what? So it actually shot out a basil. So I have a baby little clone Hamada Aristo I wasn't expecting. So that was a nice little surprise yesterday. So I'm glad I'm doing this video to, bring it up. That's my second basil in like a month on plants, so it's kind of neat that it's occurring. Can't remember what this one. Oh, this is Jungle Bell sibulinensis, Glendiflora speculata jacquelineae. This one has had problems growing, but now it's doing really well. Clipiata, Mira Mollus seed grown. As I already said, Hamada. I was trying to figure out where the Mira Raja went. Now I have to find it. Well, it's in here somewhere. Now I'm really just kind of like, oh, here it is. It's doing fine. That was the one who just got a new leaf. So, as you can see, from the leaves I get, it are the darker leaf points when they're shiny like this. That's after I've had it for a while. So it's doing pretty well. So I found it. I feel better. There's apparently a stray cat walking on top of the roof of this. So if things shifts, that's why. This is two of my Clipiata bongs. So where the main plant is right there, and it already had a basil. I thought those were basils when I initially got it, but they were actually seed siblings. So that was nice. My Alata after the repot, nice new pictures, doing really well. There's actually a picture for this one right there. It's interesting. This is my Clipiata loei tricosa. Vicii cross loei cross Clipiata. I have to read the name, sorry. This is a Singulana cross diabolica right here. It's not growing very fast. Diabolica and Hamadas tend to grow slower than most of the Nepenthes, just as a point. This one only has had 2 growth tips with me, and it's slow. One thing I've noticed is they will not pop open until they have a growth tip already growing within the leaf. That the new growth tip is actually what I think causes it, as you can see off of this Hamada. The growth tip pops a bit and opens the leaf up manually. It's a really neat little trick they do. They basically guard the growth tip with the new leaf. So I already did that one. That's my Raja Ima. As you can see, it's done really well, and it had a huge growth leaf here. So my little truncata cross spectabilis, or spectabilis truncata, as someone said I should say both. This was sold to me as an unknown, but it has characteristics of spectabilis and truncata. Yeah, it's spectabilis no matter what because of the coloring and the way the plant moves. Spectabilis, as you can see from here, this plant grows straight up. Most Nepenthes, as they age, the leaves will either brown and whatnot, and that's how you make these kind of hardened little trunks, so they are more stable and less likely to break. The other thing is most will grow straight up or wrap around things. Veitchii batabuli, especially, likes to wrap around trees. Spectabilis is weird. So if you look how spectabilis grows, such as this case, spectabilis curves down and grows like in a weird zigzaggy kind of lay down method. My Bellii Lobii is doing really good, but our Bellii Aristo, though it's trying to make friends with everybody, rather not. Can you just stay on your stick? That's going to be probably my first one to get a flower, knowing my luck. Just because it grows so rapidly. Actually, is that a flower? Because most leaf tips grow out as a leaf, and they go stem and leaf. So, I don't know. That's interesting. If that's a flower, I'm just going to shrug on that one. That one grows way too quickly. I don't know why. Specifically, its sibling is right next to it. As you can tell, this one, significant rapid growth. They're both seed-grown Bellii Aristos. Very different. That's a Lamina I believe. Gaminiflora. I've had it for a long time. It's really small, but recently it got really big leaves, so I'm not sure how to process that. Let's see. Next to it is my truncata, which has a new little truncata picture. Doing good. You can see the other Bellii Lowiis, or Bellii. I don't know why I want to say that so fast. Bellii Aristo picture of the other one. That one has much bigger pictures, but this one has smaller and grows rapidly. So I mean, take your pick. Now, kind of the stars here of this side are the Veitchii Mira. It has a new picture trying to come in, so I lost its initial two because they were damaged in shipping. It's from Pit Flytraps. And then this here is the Raja Paltata, not to be confused with Leviathan. Oh wow. This one's actually opened up a bit more. It's a little more flared. Mind you, these are under the leaves, so all I usually see is this little part, so it's nice and dark, so I actually pop this one out. Look at that coloring. Now, as you see, it's kind of blue, but I've shined light behind this a few times, and it actually goes orange. It's with like flecks of white spots. It's a very interesting species. I just love this dark cherry coloring. Or this one's got more like a green cherry with green striping with cherry. It also has another picture right there, but I think this one's aborted or damaged. I'm not sure, but I have another one that likes to hook under here. There we go. I'm gonna tuck it right there so it plays with the Veitchii Mira. Flytrap is still a flytrap. That's Dione, genericest flytrap you can get. That's my sun pitcher, Ion Die Killer X Pulchria. That's other side. Okay, so I really hate not saying the names right. Ion Die Killer Cross Pulchria Chare Tapuli. That's the full name of this species of sun pitcher. Initially extremely damaged, it has its first pitcher come back after a long time. So it's trying to come. It looks like something nicked it there. I don't know what could have done that actually. That one is interesting. It's very pretty, but man, is it sensitive to whatever. Oh wow, that's a big picture. So this is actually my second picture on this. This is a Glamniflora tennis. This is the first picture it's ever had for me. Very tiny. This one's a significant jump. It's actually really wide. How interesting. That wasn't open yesterday. That was literally the same size as that yesterday, so interesting. This is a crazy one I have. I call it crazy, but it's a very Todd's Tropical, Carnivores, Simpleton, Mirabilis, Truncata, Cross Raja, Xmere. This is a extremely versatile plant, and I state this because it never loses a pitcher almost ever. It grows really stably. It likes heat, it likes dry, it likes wet. It doesn't care where I put it, so I've been circling it around for a few months trying to find a spot that it was optimal with. It doesn't care. So this corner is kind of more spectabulous. I tried to get anything spectabulous in this corner just because they all like to curl and whatnot. Spectabulous Mira has a nice new picture way over there. It seems I'm losing my Spectabulous Maxima. Smiley X Maxima here. I lost the picture. I don't know why. It's got a few new ones on the way, so I'm not too worried. Malata's doing fine. I really like this Alata. Just because it's red with this yellow rim. Most Alatas I see are more all red, so it's kind of a cool coloring. The Alata here, or Ventrata here, I'm sorry, Alata. That's the Ventrata. That's either an Alata or a Ventrata. I won't know until it grows a bit more, so I can try to compare two. Nepenthes Oct, Vice Bashiana Yellow X Platykyla is right in there. It's doing really well. I think this is a picture for that. It's got a picture hiding under that leaf right there. My rose that I'm trying to grow is fine. Now, down here is my Queen Melanie. This is my oldest. It's slowly opening. It's very dry, so I need to add some water. It is a very slow growing plant, but it's very rewarding because it gets really big quickly. But when I say slow growing, it's the pitchers. They take a long time to get out, and they last for a longer amount than most of my others. So, overall, the update, I haven't had any losses. I've been doing pretty good. I had the one issue of that one having root rot. Hopefully that's taken care of now. I still have these two Hamadas here, and the diabolica, obviously. Macrophilia is doing really well. I'm actually insanely curious to see how this Macrophilia goes, because Macrophilia can either be really orange, really red, or almost black, depending on, genetics. So I've seen it when it had a picture that was colored and it was slightly bright orange, more like an Edwardsiana almost. So really intrigued to see that. Still said I lost the Velosa. I'm not going to try that for a while, I guess, because number one, very pricey. Number two, just because if it's that sensitive to die from a thing from the rapid rot system, same as some Rajas I had, I'm kind of in a... Let's not throw money at that. But other than that, all my plants are growing really well. As you can see from the start of this channel, I had only a few that were like very tiny, about the same size as that Alata, maybe even smaller, and they've just been rapidly growing. These ones are the slowest growing, so they stay on this side. I keep thinking maybe it's the lighting. I redid my lighting. I have a single Sansi light here with some reflectors and two small fans. I have a watering pump. That's for a misting tank for lizards. This is pretty much as basic and simple as you can get. It barely takes any power. This thing only has 50 watts, and it's so not hot that I can touch it barehanded as I just did. No damage, no nothing. But it gives significant light. I actually really like how the light is more natural. It's very bright, but not hot, so I don't have to worry about the plants getting barbecued. I know I've talked to a person I almost bought a plant from, and he had bought a new light, went away for a day, and came back in the light for like a week, and came back, and his plants were all barbecued. So I could not get it because it was either severely damaged and not going to make it. So he refunded me money, but he was really upset, and I would be too. I totally understand that. As I said, this is very simple. This is grown outdoors of my house. I do this as a hobby for fun. I might sell some of the nodes that are like that one, that are clones eventually, but for now they're just going to be there, and I just want to see how they develop, because I find these plants extremely interesting. They're all varied, all different, yet similar at the same time. Each species seems to have their own little unique way that they've adapted. Most of these species have extremely small populations, like Clipiata originally was on a mountain that caught fire, and specifically that's Clipiata. After it caught fire, it was poached a lot. I think there was only like 100, and now they're down to like 50. Same thing kind of like with this Robocantli. Robocantli were done in a construction site. I know. The guy does a saw blade behind me. Yeah, I believe in the Philippines, and they wiped out the entire forest area that only this plant grew in, which wiped them out in the wild. They're only really in nurseries, so do not ever buy from overseas, people that are not gone through vetting and whatnot. I know a couple nurseries. One's really nice. He's on Facebook and Twitter. He's a nursery in Malaysia. I really want to buy from him, but at the same time, I missed the sale, and I almost had 3 different Edwardsianas that were seed grown from him. He's another guy who just does this for fun, so I do enjoy this. Growing these it's very passive and calming. One thing I've noted is that I've been having breathing problems, as I said, being in here just for bed, either due to the rich oxygen or maybe aromatherapy, because these do emit a bunch of different scents. Maybe one of these is just better for my throat than I thought. So I know in some Chinese medicines and Indonesian, some of these are used for food. Like, people actually will eat the pitchers, will stuff them full of food, fruits, and whatnot, and cook them. While some others use the goo inside the pitcher for medicinal purpose. I remember there was a plant, one of these in China, that was used, and they found it could actually, like, wipe memory temporarily away from people. It was in an old book I was reading. I was like, oh, that's kind of weird. But if you think about it, the Sarracenia, which are here in North America natively, the Native Americans use the enzymes that are inside those pitchers for lots of different tonics and or treatments. So I keep thinking maybe there's some medical benefit that could be brought of these plants, either aromatherapy wise, or maybe making some medicine for something. So given that there are all these different varieties, it's not hard to believe that someone has bred one that has some sort of happy, healthy medicinal benefit just breathing it in. But overall, yeah, they're just fun to have. So thanks for watching, and well, I hope you enjoyed the channel. If anybody has questions, as I've said prior, just, comment or even talk to me on Twitter, Wise Exotics, at Twitter. So it's just one word. I'll have links in the bottom of the video as normal. So as I said, thanks for watching. Hope it helps, and if anyone is getting started into it and wants some how-to videos, I guess I can do that. Thanks.